Okay, so does 2 go into 240? Yes or no? Say it.
Yes.
How do you know?
Because it has a 0 at the end and 2 goes into any 0.
Because it's even. It's even. So 2, I'm going to do a check mark. Yes. That's what I'm going to use. You use whatever works for you. 3, does 3 go into this?
Yes.
How do we know?
Because 2 plus 4 plus 0
2 plus 4 plus 0
is 6.
equals 6.
And 3 times 2 equals 6.
And 3 goes into that 2 times. So since it does, it also is yes. How about 5?
Yes.
How about someone other than Charlotte? Hudson,
Yes.
how come?
Because 5 can divide it into like,
What's the rule for 5? What is it? What are we supposed to look for?
0 and 5 numbers.
Not just even. Emma?
0 and 5.
It's 0 and 5. If it ends in a 0 or a 5, then 5 goes into it. So 5 works. How about 9? Reese?
Well, I said no because it's the same rule for 3 and...
It has the same rule for 3. So when we add them together, we get 6, and 9 can't go into 6. So that means 9 does not work. So I've X'd it out. Tice, the last one?
yes.
Yes, 10 goes into it because it ends in a 0. Okay? Do we remember that now? It's a little bit fresher. We don't want to forget that. All right, for number 2, we were asked to simplify. So here we had an exponent. What did we get for number 5 when we simplified? Chair on the ground. What'd you get? 10. 10 is correct. So we have 5 plus, and then in parentheses, 2 cubed. What does that mean? Does that mean 2 times 3? No.
2 times
2 times 2 times 2, 3 times.
Couldn't it be 2 3s as well?
No. No. So it has to be that number that many times. So we have 5 plus, and then when we multiply 2 times 2, we get 4. And 4 times 2 is 8 minus 3. So when we simplify, we have 5 plus 5, which is 10. And then the last one, you were supposed to find the prime factorization. Hopefully this will be fresh in your minds because this is what we've been working on for the last couple weeks. What is 80 when we write it as a product of primes? What are the prime numbers that go into it? Tice?
2 5.
2, 5, like 25?
No. 2 and then 5 and 10 also goes in there.
So 10's not a prime.
It's 2 2 2 2 5.
There we go. How many 2's?
4.
4.
No, 5.
I think 4.
No, what is it?
It's 4 because you do.
Let's check.
I split it up into 8 and 10, and then it's 2 and 4 for 8 and 2 times
So
4
80, 8 and 10, 2 times 4, 2 times 2, 2 times 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just be careful. Okay. All right. So last night we had LCM, part 1. How did that go? Let's go over our homework. I walked around to make sure most of you had it. So we did 3, 5. We did a few problems in the beginning section. 6 through 11. What did we get for 6? Charlotte?
I got the LCM of 36.
Great. And how about number 7? Emma?
I got the LCM of 30.
Is 30?
Yeah.
Great job. Number 8. Reese, what'd you get?
I got 60.
Great. Number 9. Mia Dev, what'd you get?
I don't know if this is right, but I got 80.
80 is great. 2 more. Any gentlemen out there? Number 10. Hudson, what'd you get?
42.
Perfect. And the last one, number 11. Tice, what'd you get?
60.
60. Nice job. Okay. So now today, yesterday we were working on small-ish numbers. So today we're going to be working on larger numbers and how to solve. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with an example. Let's say that we have find the LCM of 20, 30, and 45. Okay, so this should be going in our notes. It's still, I've got the title here, mine is now in the middle of the page because I chose to do my warm-up on it. But 3.5 LCM part 2.
And one, oh, okay.
Okay, so if I start 20, 45, 30, I'm going to factor tree them. So remember that yesterday we made our tables, right? That chart, and we wrote 1, 2, 3, 4. We got all the multiples. Remember all that multiplying? Yeah? So today we're not going to do it that way. Okay? Because like trying to find the 13th multiple of 45 isn't on our multiplication chart, right? We don't have that one memorized. So we're going to try and find another way to solve.
Wait, so for the LCM, if you do it the table way, would you have to do the LCM of all three?
You still have to do the table for all three. Okay, so this is using, right, I'm going to put that up here, factor tree. And I'm also going to put that this is best for big. I'm going to write big. Which means on yesterday, right, yesterday we were supposed to write small. So this will help keep us organized in case we get stuck. Okay, so any two numbers that go into 20, let's get started. Any two. Ava, what do you got? 10 and 2. Let's focus. So 2 is prime. What goes into 10? Paul?
5 and 2.
And those are both prime. So now 20 is done. So I can write it underneath as a product of primes. And remember, when I'm comparing numbers like this, I'm not showing how smart I am with exponents. I'm writing every single digit. Question?
No.
Ready for the next one? 45. What goes into it?
9 and 5.
9 and 5. Are either of those prime?
5.
Okay.
And then 3 and 3.
Okay. So for 45,
Wait, 45 or 30? 30.
It-
I wrote 30.
it's all good. I mixed up my numbers, but they're all part of it, so it doesn't matter. 3 times 3 times 5. Need to make sure that that's written out, every number, every factor. And then my last one for 30. Any two numbers?
5 and 6.
5 and 6. Are either of those prime?
5 is.
So we circle that one, and then we factor down the 6, and we end up with a 2, and a 3,
I did 10 and 3.
and a 5. Did you still get
Yeah.
2, 3, and 5? Perfect. Okay, so this is where it gets different. So far, this has been similar to when we were finding the GCF, right? What did we do next for GCF? Do you remember? Emma, what did we do?
Circle.
Yeah, we circled what was common, right? We circled like going up and down. We are not going to do it that way. Okay? In this lesson, because we're looking for big numbers, we are going to circle the biggest group of each factor. Okay? Circle the biggest group of each factor. So after we do our factor trees and we line them up, we're going to circle the biggest group. So if I start with 20, my first factor is 2. Right? You guys are there with me? You see it? And in 20, I have 2 2s. Do I have any other 2s in my list?
One. Yes.
And how many of those do I have?
One.
There's just 1 down there. So we only want the biggest group. So I'm going to circle my 2 2s. That's the biggest group of 2s that I have in this problem. So now I'm going to go to, I'm still in 20, right? So now I'm going to go to 5. Circle the biggest group of each factor. So now I have to circle the biggest group of 5s. What's the biggest group of 5? I have only 1. They all have only 1, right? There's 3 in the total problem, but you can only do it 1 line at a time. So it doesn't matter which 5 I circle. I'm just going to circle the top one because that's I'm still at 20. So some people like to cross out the ones they're not using. Some people think that looks messy. So whatever works for you, right? I know I'm not using this 2. I know that I'm not going to use these 5s because I already circled 2 and 5. So that leaves nothing left for 20. So now I can go to 45 and I see I have 3s. In 45, I have 2 3s. Do I have any other 3s in my list? Reese?
We are on 30, we have to cross that one.
And why are we going to cross that one out?
Because there's only one of them and it has to have a purpose.
Right, so it's the smallest one, and that's not what we want. We want the biggest. We want the largest group. Okay? After we circle our largest group of each factor, so now we have no extra factors, right? There's no other prime numbers. To finish, we are going to multiply all the circled factors. So the LCM in this problem is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. Because those were all my circled factors. So 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 3 is 9. So maybe I'll do 4 times 5, that's 20. Right? So I'm just trying to do the math as easy as I can. So 4 times 5 equals 20. And 20 times 9 equals 180. You don't have to do it in that order. You can do what works for you. Okay? Yes.
So, is it okay on that question? I did the table way.
So let's do today like this, just so that you know how to do it.
Okay.
And then after today, you can do your preference.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, let's do one more like this in our notes. Example 2. For this one, let's use even bigger numbers just to challenge Tice. We're going to find the LCM
Challenge accepted.
of let's see, 22 and 55. 22 and 55. And we're going to do it today's way because these numbers are kind of big. I don't know what 22 times 12 is. I mean, I'm smart enough to figure that out, right? But if I'm going to do any math, I should factor tree because I'm super comfortable with that now. So in my factor trees, what am I going to, any 2 numbers for 22? 11 and 2. And what can you tell me about those numbers? They're both prime. They're both prime. So I'm done this way. This is much easier than finding all the multiples.
Both of them are 11 and 2.
No.
Okay, so
Oh, wait, yeah.
22 is 2 times 11. 55 is 5 times 11. So now I have to circle my largest groups. So if I start at 22, I have 2. What's my largest group of 2? One of them. So I'm going to circle it. The other factor is 11. What's my largest group of 11? I have 1, right? Because you have to check going across. There's 2 in the problem, but you have to check just for one number, the largest group together. So I'm going to circle that one. I'm going to cross out the other 11. I don't need that one. The only factor I have left is a 5, and there's one of them. So the LCM is going to be 2 times 5 times 11, which is
110 or 111.
No.
I said 110 first.
Oh, yeah, then he changed it.
right. 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 11, is 110. Okay? Are you guys ready to try one? Great. Take your whiteboards out. We are going to be doing factor trees. Okay, so I want to see the factor tree on your whiteboards. No, I'm just writing this down for now.